Today, we're recapping a movie where one man is a billionaire who has lost the ability to move, and the other has lost his direction in life. What happens when they come together in this situation? That's exactly what we're about to find out. So, let's begin. The film opens in the heart of Paris late at night, where the city streets glow under dim lights and traffic is almost non-existent. A luxury sports car races through the empty roads at an unsafe speed. Behind the wheel is Driss, a confident and carefree young man who seems to enjoy the thrill. Sitting beside him is Philippe, a wealthy man who is completely paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair. Their reckless drive does not go unnoticed for long, and soon police sirens echo through the streets as officers chase them down. When the police finally pull them over, Driss remains unusually calm. Instead of arguing or apologizing, he boldly claims that Philippe is suffering from a serious medical emergency and needs to be taken to the hospital immediately. To support the story, Philippe convincingly pretends to have a seizure. Alarmed and unsure, the police decide not to take any chances and escort them straight to the hospital with full urgency. Looks at Driss and asks what happens next. Driss smiles confidently and says he will handle it. They then drive away, leaving the audience wondering how these two unlikely companions came to share such trust. The story then shifts back in time to explain the origin of their relationship. Philippe is a rich aristocrat living in a massive and elegant mansion in Paris. Once an adventurous man who enjoyed extreme sports, his life changed forever after a tragic accident left him paralyzed from the neck down. Unable to move his arms or legs, Philippe depends entirely on caregivers to assist him with even the smallest daily tasks. Though surrounded by luxury, his life feels empty and repetitive. Along with his assistant Magali, Philippe interviews multiple candidates for a new live-in caregiver, but none of them seem right. One day, Driss arrives for the interview. Recently released from prison and struggling financially, Driss has no intention of actually getting the job. His only goal is to obtain a signed rejection letter so he can continue receiving government welfare support. During the interview, Driss behaves nothing like the other candidates. He speaks openly, cracks jokes, shows no nervousness, and even flirts shamelessly with Magali. As expected, he is dismissed almost immediately and told to return the next day to collect his signed document. Driss then returns to the cramped apartment he shares with his extended family in a poor suburb of Paris. Tension fills the home as his relatives are tired of his lack of responsibility. His aunt, especially frustrated by his absence over the past months, demands that he leave the apartment. With nowhere else to go and no stable future ahead, Driss returns to Philippe's mansion the following day, expecting nothing more than paperwork. To his complete surprise, Philippe offers him a trial position as his personal caregiver. At first, Driss struggles to understand the seriousness of the job. He is shocked by the level of care Philippe requires, from being fed and dressed to enduring constant physical pain, including intense phantom sensations that Philippe cannot escape. Despite learning about Driss's criminal past, Philippe is unconcerned. When questioned about his decision, Philippe explains that Driss is the only person who treats him like a normal man rather than a fragile patient. He values honesty over sympathy and believes Driss's attitude is exactly what he needs. As time passes, Driss begins to settle into the role. His rough personality and unfiltered honesty bring unexpected energy into the mansion. He jokes with Philippe, challenges his authority, and refuses to walk on eggshells around him. Instead of pity, he offers companionship. Philippe, in return, introduces Driss to a world completely unfamiliar to him. Fine dining, classical music, modern art, and high society gatherings. Initially, Driss mocks everything he sees, especially abstract paintings and opera performances that make no sense to him. However, little by little, curiosity replaces judgment. Driss starts asking questions, listening more closely, and eventually even discovers a talent for painting. What begins as casual experimentation turns into genuine artistic expression, surprising both himself and Philippe. Their friendship deepens as Philippe opens up about his past. He shares how his love for adventure led him to paragliding, and how one unfortunate accident permanently changed his life. He also speaks about his wife, who passed away before they could have children together, leaving him emotionally scarred. Driss listens without offering false comfort, responding instead with honesty and humour, which Philippe finds refreshing. Driss also becomes involved in Philippe's personal life, encouraging discipline where it is needed. He pushes Philippe to be firmer with his adopted daughter, Elisa, who often misbehaves and takes advantage of the household staff. Driss's influence slowly brings balance and structure to the home. One evening, Philippe hosts a private classical music performance to celebrate his birthday. The atmosphere is elegant and formal, making Driss visibly uncomfortable. At first, he is bored and disconnected, but Philippe encourages him to listen beyond the surface. Gradually, Driss begins to sense the emotion behind the music. Later, in a playful reversal, Driss plays his favourite funk track, filling the room with joy. The formal guests loosen up, and for the first time, social barriers disappear as everyone dances together. During this period, Driss discovers that Philippe has been exchanging letters with a woman named Eleanor. Their connection exists entirely through writing, and they have never met face to face. Driss strongly encourages Philippe to take a chance and meet her, but Philippe is terrified of being rejected once she sees his disability. After much persuasion, Philippe agrees to speak to her on the phone and eventually arrange a meeting. However, when it comes time to send a photo, fear takes over. Instead of sending a recent picture of himself in a wheelchair, Philippe sends an old photo from before his accident. A dinner date is planned, but on the day of the meeting, Philippe panics and leaves, moments before Eleanor arrives. Filled with regret and disappointment, Philippe invites Driss on a spontaneous trip, hoping to distract himself. Before they leave, Philippe hands Driss a large envelope filled with money. He explains that he sold Driss's painting to a wealthy friend by presenting it as the work of a promising new artist. The gesture deeply touches Driss. Trouble arises when Driss's younger cousin Adama gets involved with a dangerous group and seeks shelter at Philippe's mansion. Driss finally shares his painful childhood story, explaining how he was orphaned in Senegal and brought to France by relatives who later struggled to support an expanding family. Understanding Driss's responsibilities and potential, Philippe makes a difficult but caring decision. He lets Driss go, suggesting that his future should hold more than a life of caregiving. Driss returns to his neighborhood, helps his cousin escape trouble, and uses his newfound confidence to secure a stable job in transportation. Meanwhile, Philippe hires multiple caregivers, but none of them bring the warmth and honesty he once had. His emotional health declines, and he begins neglecting himself. Concerned, Philippe's longtime aide contacts Driss, who immediately returns. He takes Philippe out in the Maserati, leading back to the thrilling police chase shown at the beginning. After escaping the situation, Driss drives Philippe to the seaside. He helps him dress sharply and prepares him for a special lunch at a restaurant overlooking the ocean. Just as they sit down, Driss unexpectedly leaves. Moments later, Eleanor arrives. Philippe realizes that Driss arranged everything. Through the window, Philippe sees Driss standing outside, smiling proudly. The film ends with a silent farewell between two friends whose lives were permanently changed by their unlikely bond. If you enjoy suspenseful and thrilling movie explanations like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel.